Sometimes I wonder if the world I see is real or a figment of my imagination. Then I realize that they're probably one and the same, reality and imagination. I wonder if there's a limit to one's imagination often. Is it limited by the memory that one carries within themselves? I guess meditating on multiple worlds was always something that seemed oddly a part of reality and even more oddly detached from reality to me. Almost as if the escapism that my mind so desperately craved was rooted in reality itself, because I guess I found that to some degree everything that my mind could make up was connected to something that already exists. This became even more realistic when I realized that I experience multiple worlds on a daily basis. And if you're on the internet, you experience one of the strongest examples of such split realities. Yes, yes, the internet. The place where us gamers share and play, create and destroy, laugh and cry. A completely different dimension, like right in front of our faces, and yet it seems so normal that something could exist right next to us without actually being physically present. If I told you that the internet was actually another world, you would probably think about it if you haven't already. Then I'd imagine you'd agree, because to me, I think it's obvious that the physical world could survive just fine without the internet, which is what makes them mutually exclusive. Well, almost. The Earth could live without the internet, and in theory, if you could source the material off planet needed to make the technology that is able to manifest this virtual entity in 3D, then theoretically the internet could survive without the Earth too. The materials we use to tap into the internet are just mediums for tapping into a certain frequency, a frequency in which information can be shared globally. If the mediums did not exist, the frequency still would, which is why, even more so, the worlds are mutually exclusive with an almost. Maybe the almost would not be relevant if we knew how to tap into this frequency by using our minds, bodies, and energy, but I guess almost will have to do. I feel that a lot of people think that the internet is pretty fake most of the time, and to some degree, they're right and justified in thinking so. In this space, you find a plethora of super inflated egos that continue to swell out of control because no one has to really take responsibility for how they respond on the internet. You can hide who you are to a certain extent. You can say what you want to a certain extent, and you can be whatever version of you wish to a certain extent. I mean, unless you're like in politics, you know. It is this very reason why people call the internet superficial, and yeah, it is if you ask me. I think each of these half-baked expressions of the real person behind the screen points to an even greater truth, though. A truth that shows us how the internet is filled with partial shadows of different types of personalities that, for some reason, can only find the courage to express themselves in that space. And when you combine the shadows with the real person, I think we can see things a little more clearly. And the truth is that we use both of these worlds to try to express the entirety of ourselves. Which is interesting, because the basis for one of these worlds is not physical. Of course, I know that you've felt that you're probably not just your mind and body for some time, but to know that you actually express yourself as though you're not your body and mind is a different thing entirely, I think. And I don't know if most of us do this consciously, but every time you get on the internet, you're saying, how can I express myself and connect in a non-physical way? I mean, sure, you use your mind to assimilate the information through the physical screen, but when you create a video or respond to a post, there's nothing for that piece of you to do anymore except exist within that virtual medium. It has its own non-physical signature that's been imprinted in that space, and it reflects a part of you forever. I do, however, have one major dilemma with this world of the internet, and that is that it's not all-inclusive. And because it isn't all-inclusive, I don't believe that you can find the ultimate truth within it. So many of us look to the internet for validation, for knowledge, and for information or entertainment, but the reality is that the truth of life has to pertain to all of life, not just some. And access to this frequency is provided to a small percent of the world's population. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the internet is awesome. I can share my thoughts with you through it. We can organize and create through it, but to live a fulfilled life, I think it's important to know the truth of what life is, and to do that, you have to stop reaching into the internet and reach within yourself. Because everything the internet provides to us was made possible through us. So don't forget to go outside every once in a while, smell some dirt, lick a rock, feel the sun. Because even though this frequency is most likely eternal, you can't do that stuff on the internet. See you next time.